All the stops he made just today: Fayetteville, North Carolina; Scranton, Pennsylvania; Traverse City and Grand Rapids, Michigan; Kenosha, Wisconsin. He's everywhere on this last day, just like he was in 2016.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you know, Sean, the interesting thing was after last night, the president held a rally until 1 o'clock in the morning in Florida. I mean, he is burning the midnight oil here to just take this to the end.
Well, he did it last time. He's
Yeah.
going to do it again. I think the president's got a bit of superstitionism, so he's going to work for him last time. He's going to work again. You know, Lizzie, we're now less than 6 hours from those first votes being counted in Dixieville Notch, that town in New Hampshire that traditionally votes first. But this time, so much different. We're not waiting for Dixieville Notch. People have been voting now for weeks and in some cases months.
Yeah, that's right. And we've seen in some states they already have 100% match on people who have voted compared to 2016. Some have said this will be the biggest turnout that we've had since 1908, or maybe even beyond that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've heard this over and over, and so many of these whiteboards that pundits put on air say Florida, 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 and Florida's 29 electoral votes are clearly the big prize, especially if Donald Trump wants to get a second term. There is one man who probably knows what it's like to win Florida many times. Let's bring in Senator Rick Scott, the former governor, who was at the president's rally in Florida last night. Senator Scott, thanks for joining us.
It was late.
Well,
This guy, Trump works 24 hours a day. This thing was going on until, you're right, 1 o'clock in the morning. He had energy. Yeah, I think he had 5 rallies that day, been all over the country, started early. And he's going to win because of all of his hard work. Plus, in Florida, here's the deal. We like jobs in this state. Joe Biden's not known much for jobs. We don't like socialism. We got a lot of people that have left these countries over socialism, and that's where the Democrat Party is. We like our law enforcement. The Democrat Party is not very helpful to law enforcement right now. So I think Donald Trump is going to have a big win. And plus, you know what? Florida doesn't like big taxes. And what's Joe Biden? He wants to do the biggest tax increase in the history of the country at the worst possible time. So I think Donald Trump is going to get his votes out, and he's going to have a big win.
Well, look, you know something about winning Florida. You did it as governor. You did it as a senator. But when you look at these polls, and I'm not a big believer in the public polls, don't get me wrong, but you look at the New York Times has Biden up 47-44. The Wall Street Journal has Biden up 52-42. Now, I think that's ridiculous. And the IBD, the Investors Business Daily poll, has him up 50-44. So, look, I don't believe that by any stretch of the imagination it's that big of a deal. At best, it's a tie game. Florida has been close since 2000. You know that, so in your races especially. Where do you think the race actually stands tonight as we go into this final 24 hours?
Well, if the polls were right in 2016, we would have had President Hillary Clinton. I wouldn't have won any of my 3 races because all the polls said I would lose. So the pollsters have been wrong in Florida forever. So why Trump's going to win is he's got the energy. He's going to get the vote out. The polls have always been wrong in these races. I think it's probably intentional, but who knows? But look, there's no energy for Biden. You don't even see any signs. The Democrats are not doing grassroots in this state like they typically do, like Republicans are doing. And he's got a great campaign manager, a great grassroots effort. He's going to get his votes out, and he's going to have a big win.
Okay, so you know that state like the back of your hand. What do we, as viewers, want to look at tomorrow night in Florida to know how the president's doing early? Because in a lot of cases, it's him overperforming in a place, or maybe the case that the Biden campaign is underperforming where they need to do well. So what, as an expert in Florida, do we need to look at when those polls close first?
I think the one thing you're going to look at is the Hispanic vote. You know, my 3 races, I've always shocked everybody. I always won the Hispanic vote. I think President Trump's going to do unbelievably well. So watch the Miami-Dade results. Watch the Orange County, Osceola County. We have significant Hispanic voters in those counties, and watch what happens there. I think President's going to do really well there. You know, the way my races work, the Democrats tried to run up the score in places like Broward County and Palm Beach County, and we generally do really well the rest of the state. And that's what President Trump did also. He did the exact same thing. He did really well all across the state. But if you go and look at the issues, if you go look at who, Trump's going to win. I mean, it's just there's no energy for Biden in here, and I think they made a big mistake, Sean. They didn't do their grassroots to get out the vote, and that's going to hurt them.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. If anywhere grassroots is going to matter, I think it's going to be in Florida. And the idea that they didn't do that hand-to-hand, door-to-door combat, if you will, politically speaking, was a big mistake. You know, in 2016, Senator, your race went into a recount. What did you learn in that race that you hope they know now?
Well, be ready for a recount.
Yep.
You know, I think we had you know, you've got to be ready for a recount. You have to assume you're going to have a recount. So make sure unfortunately, we have to have in these races now a lot of lawyers. We've got have a lot of people watching the polls. You know, in my race in 2018, they found 95,000 ballots after election night. That's not inconsistent. That's inconsistent with the law. But we have activist judges that allow these things to happen. I hope it doesn't happen this time. I don't think it's going to happen this time. We've replaced, we have 2 new supervisor elections in counties that were a problem in 2018. So hopefully it won't be an issue in Florida, and hopefully that won't be an issue anywhere around the country, because it's not fair to the voter who expects their vote not to be diluted by fraud.
You mentioned, Senator, when you were governor, some of those supervisors of an election, especially in South Florida. Where had they been changed, and will that make a difference?
The 2 big counties are Broward County. I had the opportunity to appoint a new supervisor election. And then there's a new supervisor election in Palm Beach County. And I think they're both going to do their job. They understand their job is not to try to help one party win. Their job is to make sure every vote is counted. I want everybody in my state, vote. Get out and vote. If you voted by mail-in ballot, you can actually go check online to make sure your ballot was counted. Make sure your signature matched. And so if not, then go to the polls tomorrow and let them know. So I want people to vote, but I don't want there to be any fraud. Now, I personally believe Trump's going to win. I think he's going to have a nice win in Florida, probably bigger than he had last time. But reality is, let's get everybody out to vote. And the president has had his opportunity to explain the difference, and I think that's why he's going to win.
Senator, your state, you were a jobs governor. You made the point earlier that jobs are crucial, but seniors are a big, big factor in the Florida vote. Some polls suggest the president's down a little bit in seniors. What should that closing message to seniors be who respectfully may not need a job as much as somebody currently active in the workforce?
Well, reality, every program that we care about with government, whether it's making sure Social Security is funded or Medicare is funded, it's tied to a good economy. And so if we don't have a good economy, we don't have the money to continue the programs that we all believe in. We want to make sure every Social Security recipient gets their check. We want to make sure Medicare continues the way it has, but we've got to have a good economy to make sure that continues. So you want to elect President Trump because he's going to get the economy going. Joe Biden, he's had 47 years to do something.
Yes.
He's never done anything that helped the economy.
All right. Well, if there's one man who knows how to bring jobs to Florida, one man who knows how to win Florida, it's Senator Rick Scott. Sir, thank you for sharing with us these final thoughts. Good luck to you tomorrow. Stay safe out there on the trail.
Okay. Nice seeing you, Sean.
Newsmax TV is now America's fastest growing cable news channel. We give you the real news you need. So subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up. If you like this video, share it with your friends. Newsmax TV streams live on YouTube for free. Newsmax TV, real news for real people.